Good day, students. It's nice to see you today. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at the topic, What's your story? So, let me introduce you with the objectives of the lesson. We will develop language, communicative, and cultural competences and enlarge vocabulary related to the topic. And we will improve speaking skills. So, let's go to the plan of the lesson. We will consider the ways of describing people, and we will identify the types of adjectives. We will explain information questions, and you will learn how the ways of adding emphasis. So now let's talk about different ways we can describe people. So describing people effectively involves focusing on specific traits and using clear, vivid adjectives to convey what someone is like. Here's a step-by-step guide to the ways of describing people, organized into key aspects. There are 6 main aspects to focus on. So the first one, physical appearance. The second one, personality. The third one, emotions or mood. The next one is behavior or actions. And the fifth one is voice or speech. And the sixth one is overall impression. So these students, we will discuss today's grammar theme is adjectives. So we have simple adjectives. So simple adjectives are basic words that describe a noun. They are only one word and not made by joining other words. Examples: small, tall, happy, cold, expensive. And we have compound adjectives. Compound adjectives are made by joining 2 or more words, usually with hyphen. They work together as one adjective. Examples: well-known, part-time, 10-year-old, high quality. So we also have ed ending adjectives and ing ending adjectives. Ed ending adjectives describe how someone feels they are and made from the past participle of verbs: bored, tired, interested, surprised, confused. So ing ending adjectives describes the thing or situations that causes the feeling. They are made from the ing form of verbs. For example, boring, tiring, interesting, surprising, confusing. Okay, and the tips that you have to know: using ed adjectives for people, feelings, or emotions, and ing ending adjectives for things or actions that make someone feel a certain way. So, dear students, now we will consider another grammar topic, information questions. So what are information questions? Information questions are questions that ask for specific information, not just yes or no. They usually begin with the WH words such as who, what, where, when, why, which, how. So the first example, what and which, can be followed by a noun. For example, what color are you? Are your eyes? What size shoes do you take? So what sort of music do you like? Which part of town do you live in? So we use which when there is a limited choice. Which one do you want? The red one or the blue one? Which restaurant shall we go to? We use what when there is almost unlimited choice. For example, what language do they speak in Brazil? What car do you drive? And the next one, whose, can be followed by a noun. Whose book is this? Whose is this book? So the next one is how. How can be followed by an adjective or an adverb. For example, how tall are you? How big is the hotel? How far is it to the station? So the next one, how, can be followed by much or many. For example, how many rooms are there? And how much money do you have? So, dear students, we have information questions. What? Like. Asks about the permanent nature of people and things. It asks for general description. For example, what is Indian food like? Really tasty. What's Pete like? He's a great guy. And the second one, how, asks about the present condition of something. This condition can change. How is work these days? It's better than last year. How was the traffic this morning? It was worse than usual. To ask about the weather, we can use both questions. How is the weather where you are? What's the weather like where you are? And the third one, how, asks about people's health and happiness and can ask for reactions and feelings. How is Peter? He is fine. How is your meal? How is your new job? And okay, adding emphasis. And now we will work with this grammar material. Emphasis means making something strong or more important in a sentence. We add emphasis when we want to show strong feelings, correct someone, make part of a sentence stand out. Ways to add emphasis in English. So the first one, using do, does, did in positive sentences. Even in positive sentences, we can add do, does, did for strong emphasis. Tense example use of this grammar material. So in present, for example, I do like to show your strong idea. So present. Okay, this is a present sentence. Okay, the next one, using strong adverbs. For example, really, absolutely, definitely, just, even. And the fourth one is word order, repetition. Changing word order to or repeating words can add dramatic effect or emphasis in speech or writing. The fifth one is stress in speech. In spoken English, we often stress the most important word, like it's given on the screen. So, dear students, we have quotations about describing people. So your task is to learn by heart these quotations and to give the translation into Kazakh, or to find equivalent of the Kazakh quotations to the given ones. Okay, so questions that you have to answer. So dear students, we have 6 questions. So the first one, what are some common ways to describe a person's appearance and personality? The second, what kind of adjectives would you use to describe someone's mood or attitude? The third one, can you describe someone you admire using at least 3 different adjectives? The fourth one, how can we describe someone's physical features without being negative or impolite? And the fifth one, can you create an information question to ask about someone's job, hobby, or family? The last one, why do we add emphasis in a sentence? So, dear students, we have descriptive writing. There are 3 writing tasks about people. Choose one of them and write a 250-word essay. So, the first task, investigate how the physical appearance of a person can affect the way others see and judge them. Choose one person and describe their appearance in detail. Then explain how people might form opinions about them based on what they say. So the second task is to discuss how a person's character can be revealed through the things they do and say. Describe someone you know and focus on how their personality traits show in their behavior, habits, or speech. The next one, investigate how a person's cultural background influences the way they speak, dress, or behave. Choose one person to describe and explain how their background is reflected in their lifestyle and personality. So examine how different cultures describe people. Compare the prevalence and acceptability of adding emphasis while describing people in various cultural contexts. Research questions. So the first one, how do cultural norms and values influence attitudes towards describing people? What ways of describing people are considered acceptable or unacceptable in different cultures? How do cultural differences in describing people affect cross-cultural communication and relationships? So, dear students, it's time to conclude today's lessons, the ways of describing people were considered, types of adjectives were identified, the use of information questions was explained. The ways of adding emphasis were pointed out. That's the end of our video lesson, dear students. You can get more information about the materials that we have learned and on our today's lesson from the references that are given on your slide. So have a nice day off, dear students. Bye.